Hi guys, we've got Maps and Atlases in today, all the way from Chicago. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
How's your trip to the UK?
It's been really fun. We've only done one show so far. We played in Bristol yesterday, and it was really nice. And it was the first time we've ever been there. And
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
yeah, it was really pretty. It was awesome walking around and seeing a new place. But we're excited to be back in London too, because this is the place we spent the most time in the UK, and I really like it here too. So.
It's such a good place to be when you're a band, I think. It's such a buzzy environment, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How, are you going to be touring Europe as well, or are you just doing UK?
Yeah, we're doing, it's a relatively short trip. We're doing about a week in the UK, and then about a week in Europe, and then we go back. But yeah, we're definitely excited to be here for sure.
Well, obviously from the name, I'm taking a complete stab in the dark. I'm assuming it's because you love travel, or has that got nothing to do with it?
It doesn't have anything to do with it.
But we do like travel, so that's...
Yeah.
What is the background
Of the name?
of the name, yeah?
Well, we all went to school in Chicago, and kind of in a district that was once a printing area. Like they printed a lot of books and magazines and stuff, but there was also an old print house that just printed maps, and there was kind of a fading sign on the side of one of the buildings that just said Maps and Atlases, and I think we had all seen it at some point, walking to and from classes, and I don't know, it just looked cool.
It is cool, I love it.
Thanks.
So, I think I read that you formed, is it 2004? Is that when you were all in college together?
Mm-hmm.
And you've had, so this is your second album?
Yeah.
And then you've had 3 EPs, so it's been a pretty long journey.
Yeah.
And your sound has, especially in this album, it's kind of renovated quite a lot. It's now pretty, there's even like 80s funk, I'd say, in this album.
That's cool. We'll take that.
How come that came about?
I think that, we've consistently sort of been, evolving as a band, and, I think that our goal together was to sort of continue to challenge ourselves and make things that were fun and exciting for us, and, that we could share with people hopefully, and, and each of our releases has been, different, but I think that they all kind of share a common thread in that, I think that we spent a lot of time in school where we kind of just were playing together and not necessarily, we didn't tour or anything really, and we weren't really releasing much music. We didn't really release our first EP until we were about to graduate, and then we did a really short tour in support of that. But all the time we spent sort of just jamming on stuff, we kind of, I think, got a feel for how we play together, and what we like doing, and how we enjoy playing together. And I think that there was an element of challenging technicality to that, but I think at the same time, we all wanted to make music that was fun and that we had fun playing, and that we could like I said, we could share with people, and hopefully they would enjoy too. So I think that there was a common thread in just that intention behind the music. So yeah.
Well, there's Prince influences, I've read and you can tell, and there's a Paul Simon influence in one of the songs. That's an amazing thing to evolve into, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I think that we didn't necessarily have any specific thing where like, oh, let's make it sound like this or make it sound like that or anything like that. I think we would start doing something and it sort of seemed like fun, or like it made sense with the song, or with what we were sort of naturally gravitating towards in the process of recording, and it kind of just went down that path, and we didn't I don't know, that's part of the fun aspect of recording, is just to sort of see where things go, and especially when you're in space. Like we recorded in a studio for the first time on this album at this studio called ARC in Omaha, and there was just all this really fun stuff around to mess with and to try, experimenting with, and that sort of allowed the record to take a lot of turns that it wouldn't have, if we hadn't been in that space. So that was really fun too.
So how does that transcend when you then perform live? If these obscure things that you were finding and uncovering in the studio, I've heard that you are amazing and so much fun to watch live.
Well, yeah, I mean that's part of the fun challenge of it. With our last record and with this record, we kind of just went into it with the mindset, because of our first EPs were so much a sort of documentation of where we were at and what we were doing, and sort of really representative of what we had done live. This kind of, the past two records have kind of been the opposite in a way, where it was like, well, let's just see what happens, and then it'll be a challenge to figure out how to translate that into the live setting. And I think both are fun, and I think that we as a band have such a sort of, I don't know, I guess just a way of playing together that is just what we do, that it's kind of interesting after making a record with no particular boundaries of any kind to sort of filter that through what we sort of intuitively do together, and I think that the music starts taking on a completely different identity in the live setting. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. So have you had any crazy on tour or on stage experiences? What is the craziest, if you can all name it?
We played some really wild shows and stuff, but
is that mainly in America, or do you notice the difference between a UK audience and an American crowd or a European crowd?
I think it just, because we've been touring in the US for a lot longer, I think there's, it seems like a little bit more like an intimate setting, or like people who have come to see us for a long time kind of, have gotten to know us, and so there's
they're a bit wilder, aren't they? They're hardcore.
Yeah, that's true. But those people are here too, and I think it's just, I think we're a little bit newer to people here, so it's a little bit, sometimes can be a little more of like a formal performance, whereas we've played in crazy spaces and co-ops and basements and stuff in the US, and so it's kind of, sometimes those barriers aren't there, and there's people falling into you, so.
That sounds amazing. You're performing tonight, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You're performing with Tall Ships at the garage.
Uh-huh.
How are you feeling about it? That's your second performance on this trip of the UK.
Yeah, it should be really fun. I would imagine. We played with them before, and London the last couple times has been some of the best shows we've ever had, so I think it'll be really fun.
Have you decided what you're going to perform for us today? I know all of us are eager for the performance.
Well, we're gonna play the song "Winter" from our new album.
Yeah, I love that one.
And then we're gonna do the request of Solid Ground.
Great.
So.
Okay, we can't wait. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you very
coming
much
in.
for having us.
Maps and Atlases.